we tend to have similar taste on
Yeah.
music. Although we have different opinions about Kanye, but
Kanye?
yeah, but we shouldn't put that on the table. So
Yeah, I agree.
Let's keep on talking.
Sebastian, let's get into it. Thank you for
Matt?
having me over to talk about your creativity, what your work means to you, what your goals are, and then anything else that comes up like Colombia or music. I'd love for you to feel like you can talk about anything, and I just want to give you that platform to share because I think you're a cool guy. So
Okay, well, thank you.
yeah,
You know, I think it's very powerful that you do this type of things. You know, when we first spoke, I found a person that was like from out of nowhere, like interested in someone else. And I think it's difficult to find this type of relationships here, you know.
yeah,
For me, someone coming from South America, like the bond is very different between the friends, between the people you meet, between the colleagues, the people who you study with, and you tend to have more strong bonds with them, you know. But here it's been difficult, so I think that I appreciate you
yeah,
calling, you inviting me, and I
absolutely.
wanted to start with that. I like it.
Thank you so much for saying that. I remember the first time we were in an orientation class together and you asked a question and talked about a video game you were making, and it just, an exclamation mark went above my head, a light bulb. I got to talk to this guy because I've never talked to a video game developer before. And so I wanted to get to know you better, get to know your world, and I'm so glad I did because I've got to see this new video game you're making and hear you explain what you're passionate about. It's awesome. So you're going home next week.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to talk about what home is and how you got here?
Yeah, home is for me. Home is Bogota. I think that the bonds that we were talking about, those are very strong there, and I think that the people I left behind are still my family. You know, besides obviously my parents and my relatives. I think that so much of myself is due to that city, to the people that I grew up with, and also to the places that I've visited, because I've been fortunate to travel a lot, and I have been able to see many things. I've really traveled a lot. Blessed for having such a traveler parents.
Yeah.
And I think I want to incorporate a lot of things that I've learned through the years in just going different trips. I mean, like places like Turkey, places like Greece, like Thailand, Indonesia. You know, I've learned so much from the cultures that I think I want to implement a lot of things from a lot of sides. So I don't know how to define myself.
That's awesome.
But
You don't need to.
yeah, no,
That's the best part.
But when you talk about yourself,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see, like, how can you explain who you think you are?
It's a complex question.
Yeah. So that's who I am, and that's my home, really. I want to eventually, hopefully, I would like to go back and have a job where they would just require me to fly maybe a week in a month, something like that, then I can live back home.
Where you can go see a lot of music festivals around the world.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Talk about DJing and those music festivals that you got so excited sharing with me.
Okay, so I've learned music since I was like maybe 6.
Yeah.
I learned piano, and then when I was like 15 or 16, I started to do the drums in high school. And that led me to a musical life. I've always heard music. I think maybe like 70-80% of the day I'm listening to something. I was just listening to music when you arrived.
It was great to walk in with music playing. I felt like I was in a little commercial. That's how I am too.
Welcome home.
I know, thank you. I listen to music most of my day.
Yeah,
It keeps me calm.
I see that from your posts about the albums.
Album, yeah.
Yeah, we tend to have the different the same
Similar.
the similar taste on
Yeah.
music. Although we have different opinions about Kanye, but
Kanye?
yeah, but we shouldn't put that on the table. So
Yeah, I agree.
Let's keep on talking.
I think there's so much to be said about him, but from my specific life and things that I've experienced and struggled with, his music, seeing how much he screwed up, and to embody that and still show that he's human through his songs, that has helped me. So I take that little bit from him. I'm able to, my mom always says, love the person, hate the sin. Like I don't agree with the things he says, but like his music has gotten me through some of the worst days of my life.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about his stuff. But yeah, continue.
Yeah,
That's
I think we have the same vision about it. You have to separate the person from the art.
Yeah.
In these cases, I think.
You would hope you wouldn't have to, but
yeah. It's necessary.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to do music. You know, that's something that has been present in my life for many years, and eventually I bought the keyboard that's over there. I wanted to do.
Can I grab it?
Yeah. I wanted to try to do music, right? So I bought the MIDI keyboard, and I say, okay, here I have the keyboard. I already know how to play it.
Yeah.
And I have the pads, so I can do some drums and
Nice.
things like that. And when I started to do the part of the software, I didn't know how to connect that thing properly.
Yeah.
So you could play some
USB-C?
keys, but I can connect it. But the problem is inside the wiring of the different keys. Some of these are not working. So you cannot play fully on it. And I tried like 3 months to get tutorials and all of that, and I couldn't.
Did you buy it on Facebook Marketplace? Or?
I bought it off Amazon.
Weird.
And it was just the interface, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And with the other one, that's I use the controllers for the tracks, so the volume, the speed, faders, play, cue, highs, mid, lows. This would be the gain.
Yeah.
This would be the not the pitch, but the key, and this one is the filter.
Nice.
So I just reprogrammed all of that stuff into Virtual DJ, and I started just trying to create something that sounded nice, and that has taken me to I played in bars and things like that. So
you have a great passion for DJing. You love music, but it's not what you're studying right now.
No, I figured out that when I was already studying industrial design as my college degree, I knew, like, at that moment, like I don't want to pursue music as something that you live off. Mm-hmm. Especially, I think in South America, it's really difficult, and I think the people that know that do that know that you have to be like very knowful, like you have to know a lot of
knowledgeable.
Yeah. You have to be very knowledgeable in that stuff, and I knew just a little bit. I like it, but I said to myself, okay, I also have like other expectations, and I know that music is a really tough business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think I have the talent enough to just go to pursue it like full career heads on. And I have other talents here and there, so I was a very inquisitive person.
I think it's important to learn the difference between a hobby and a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you can still love music more than anything in the world and keep it a hobby.
Yeah. And
it's a hard lesson for me to learn.
Yeah, really, because I think I made the right decision because I couldn't live with that. I think it would be very stressful for me. I'm the guy that says, okay, I prefer to have a 9 to 5
Yeah.
every day with a paycheck than just like be scrapping for something, for someone to just hear you and they say,
I know.
okay, I want this guy to be produced. In a fish of all the things that are produced right now, I'm producing music, but I keep it up on my YouTube. I post it on, I want to do my new DJ
Yeah.
Instagram and all of that, but as a hobby, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to depend on that. It's too stressful to be,
I agree.
for me to
Yeah.
put my music into that.
Gotcha. Very nice. So talk a little bit more about what you are studying, and then we can segue into like what's on your computer right
Yeah.
now.
I've been a very inquisitive person since my childhood, and I think that through time I've wondered a lot about how things work. You know, like for example, if you see this table and then you see a couple of screws here and there, and then you see this beam over here, how they relate.
Yeah.
You know, I would be the kid.
How does this stand up when
Yeah,
my computer's
really,
on
really.
it? You think like an engineer.
Yeah, I had that vision. So I would go around my house and try to, you know, unscrew everything from the heater and then just try to figure out how it heated the air that it was venting and then try to reassemble it. I would go and see how the pepper mill will work, like inside when I was very little. Like how does it just grills it, you know, how it becomes a powder. And that train of thought has led me like to a lot about machines and how they work, and that's why I started studying industrial design. How do you design objects?
Yeah.
How do they work? You know, one very powerful design example is if you have a door that you don't need to label it push or pull, but you just know by looking at it, that would be the perfect door. Like
Think you did
know,
the right job.
Yeah, you know you have to push it because it says so. You don't have to read it. It just communicates that stuff.
So if I'm envisioning a door, what in your opinion would be the perfect one? Is it an indent door where you've got the like, how do you know ahead of time, or is that just an example?
Yeah, it's just an example.
I know what you're saying though. That's such an interesting.
But yeah, that would be the way to view the things from an industrial design point. For example,
or like Apple, you know intuitively exactly what to do with all Apple products, just because they're that smart with their industrial design.
Yeah, we tackle a lot of those areas. We can go from the interface design, that Apple was one of the ones that just started to create all of what we do right now in the smartphones, for example, how you see the apps, how you interact with them. I think they were one of the pioneers in that. And with all that in mind, we as industrial designers can go from that part of just creating the interface to maybe having a key role in 3D development, 3D scenarios. And as I told you, my childhood has a lot to do with this. I used to do some plastiline things. I loved Legos. I stayed in extracurricular activities doing ceramics. And all of that helped me to develop this love for like maybe 3D modeling. That's what I do right now. And all of that plasticity helped me understand the world like in meters, in dimensions.
You're learning physically how everything interacts with one another.
Yeah.
From like a deep matter standpoint.
You have certain vision for the space. So when I'm gonna talk in meters. So let's say if you tell me like, okay, it's gonna be a 3 meters by 4 meters space, I have a rough idea of how much that would be if just like sense in the room. Okay, we want to occupy that area over there. So I learned to think about that space. And then when I went to college and I started to learn about industrial design, about design product, about 3D design in the product. I fell in love with all of that. I just plunged into the 3D world. I learned through the tutorials of some guy from, I don't know, India, talking in English, some Italian guys.
Nice.
I was lucky to find some Argentinians, some Mexicans that also did tutorials in Spanish, but I've learned a lot through YouTube. And after graduating, I started like my journey, of the corporate world. What do you want to do? Where do you want to work? And I knew, like from the beginning, I wanted to be a toy maker. I wanted to do design for kids. I wanted to be able to create something like in maybe Fisher Price.
Yeah.
For the little babies,
I always played with Fisher Price.
Just to understand, for example, the different forms. This is the triangle, this is the square, this is the circle, this is a cube, this is a cylinder, this is a sphere. Those are different concepts. And I couldn't get into the industry. It was very hard.
Gotcha.
I just eventually got a job in doing 3D modeling. I continued my path, but it was for point of sale merchandise. It's just a bunch of publicity for the supermarkets,
Gotcha.
like for the end caps, for the aisles. So you will have different cardboard settings around them just to display something like
No,
that.
I understand that.
Like new product, or for example, discounts and things like that.
Seasonal
Yeah.
showcasing with cardboard.
Yeah. Really, really, just displays.
Displays.
And after that, I ended up in an agency. I lost my job there because times in Colombia went rough after COVID, and I was arguing for better policies from the company. And as one of the people that was in charge of thinking that way, I was one of the heads that they slay. And after that, after that, I went to work in a design agency. And it was around 2021 when I started there. And in 2021, we had, back in Colombia, in Bogota, we had a lot of protesting during that year,
Yeah.
And I really wasn't caught that much into the fight. I went through a few times to the plaza, but I got out just in time, both of them. You could see the bombs exploding in the tear gas and all of that stuff. You can feel it in the air, but I was already far away from it. And in that moment, I just something clicked on me. I started one morning. I just started writing a story. I wanted to talk about that. The way the media was portraying it, the way the police was portraying it, the way the government, all of those clashes between the protesters and the police. It was difficult stuff, to hear every time. And I think I don't like news because I'm a very sensitive person, and I don't want to recharge myself with all of that, all of those things. And
I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's
I don't
really
want to.
like nerving, but
you found your voice through this, and you said you woke up one day and you realized that you had a unique point of view that you could share to the world.
Yeah, maybe not unique, but maybe a platform. I already was trying to become a game designer by that time, so I had already done a online master about game design. I wanted to be in that industry. So I was studying to be a game designer online, and the whole clash happens, and I've been taking all of that, and all of a sudden I really just woke up one morning. I don't know if I dreamed it. I have no idea of if it was brewing in my mind, but I just started like writing. I was like, oh, I have to do this story, it could be a perfect game, and I began to plan a huge thing,
Yeah.
I began to develop it, I began to write it, and the protests were really something like 3 months. So it lasted a few days of writing here and there. And I started to develop that idea. I wanted to do a game with it. I wanted to do a game with it. And with the master that I got, I had to do a game, something that we call game document design. That is how the game will look, how it will behave. It is a 70-page document that I have here that I did for that master. And fortunately,
You typed 70 pages for the masters?
yeah, it has a lot of images.
Wow.
It has a lot of examples. You have a lot of that document. If it's good enough, I could give it to you, and you could have a good sense of what I want to do and how to do it.
Gotcha.
So
Similar to that industrial design thing you were talking about. It should be intuitive
yeah,
in that sense.
I wanted to make it real. So I thought that from the first experience in my master's degree, I wouldn't have the context that I have if I went to study abroad. If I was in the place, if I could talk directly to the professors, if I could talk to the fellow students. Because in the master's degree online, I just connected to the class and then I'm out, I'm on myself, I'm on my life. I do my homework and then I just forward it, It's very impersonal. But here, having the opportunity to speak in the classroom, I think that's very valuable, and I wanted to pursue that. So I came here 5 months ago. I've been studying.
Yeah.
And one of my objectives was to do the game here, like during my classwork.
Yeah.
And I've been able to squish it here and there, but I also found that the first game that I wanted to create was very big. It was a very huge scope. It was like 5 years into development, something like that. It's really a lot. And I thought, okay, I still want to do something about it. I have already created a whole story. What happens if I just take a little bit? What happens if I just do something really easy that would be like some kind of a spin-off?
And this is
one season.
The change that has happened over the last 5 months. Since the first time we met each other, you've had to scale this game down, and now you're making it into something a lot sooner, easily more accessible.
Yeah.
Something you can play faster, and then maybe to satisfy yourself, to get some accomplishment, and then you're still planning on someday making this big game, right? Okay. Good.
Yeah. So I hope that this will be the game that puts the name of the developer, like, okay, they want to talk like real shit, We want to do real stuff that has a meaning.
Well, I think it's very inspiring, your message and how convicted you are, how much you want to show the injustice of what's happening in Colombia. That's why I wanted to interview you today, is to get you to talk about that, because it's unique to me. I've never lived in Colombia. I don't know what it's like to be in those riots, but to hear you talk about, like, you were in those, you maybe from a distance, but you could smell those smells of the tear gas and see other people getting hurt. And so you want to make a change. As a developer, you want to give people that platform. I think that's really admirable. What does creativity mean to you? And how would you like to inspire people that are listening that may want to consider some of the things you've said today?
For me, creativity, it's about details. It's about being able to see the details that in the world that surround you, so that eventually when you need to find some kind of reference, some kind of a starting point, some kind of idea that you have already thought about it, you have other points to drag from. You have other information that is available to you. For me, creativity is to be able to pull off all of this reference and jump from one to another to see which one fits you. The same way I think that I wanted to develop the game, and then they told me, okay, it's way too huge. You're never going to be able to do that in 1 year. And I had to think about, okay, how can I do something about it? How can I shorten the story? How can I pivot this into something that it's doable in just 1 year? And I think it also lays on the possibility of viewing all the components that are in place. You know, I knew I had already a character in the story. I knew that I could develop a story from that character, not the main one, but one of the secondary ones. And this is the story that I want to tell. This is a previous story that the prequel would be. So yeah, just be thoughtful of the details around you, not just visual, but the things that other people say, the things that they do, how they behave. And I learned that maybe through traveling. You know, you get to see a lot of things that are different, completely different, and I'm fixated into understanding that and defining those details. And I think that has helped me a lot with my creativity.
That's amazing. It pays to pay attention.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude.
No,
It was awesome
thank you.
talking
Thank
to you.
you.
Yeah.